So thanks very much, everyone, for joining. My name is Dr. Anastasia Dedyukhina, or Anastasia for today. I'm director of Consciously Digital Institute, and today I'm here with Nairi McMahon from the UK. Hi, Nairi. And with Davina Puggioni from Italy. And we will speak about how to build a personal brand in digital well-being in 2026. That's a free masterclass, and my hope that by the end of this masterclass, you will first get inspired about being part of digital well-being if you're still not inspired, and second, that you will have some practical ideas, of what you can be doing in it. So we're going to start with quick introductions. I would like to know who is here, what you do. And then I will talk about our research. So we do annual research about the overall digital well-being market. We send a survey to more than 500 people who work in it. And based on these answers, we do the report. So today is the first time you will hear it from me. At least some of the findings. Then I invited Nairi and Gavina because they're very active in digital well-being field, doing their own things. So I thought maybe you will hear something inspiring from their stories. Then I'll talk about really big digital influencers, who probably all of you know, and how they build their reputation. And we'll discuss one pain point. I know it's a pain point for everyone, how to get business without daily social media posts, if that's possible at all. Spoiler, yes. And then we will finish with Q&A the first hour, and then whoever wants to stay for networking, feel free to. CDI folks, anyone else. Yeah, that's more or less the plan. So while we're warming up, I would like to ask you, and write for me in the chat, what is, when you hear digital well-being, what does it mean for you? Digital well-being, what does it mean for you? Now we'll also meanwhile do the poll. When you think about, like, you hear the term digital well-being, does it ring you a bell? Is that like this extension on your Android phone? How do you understand it? What are we talking about today? Brand and digital well-being. Not doom scrolling. Okay, for example, so not doom scrolling. What else? How do we know somebody's digitally well? Okay, relationships with digital spaces, healthy relationship with technology could be, yes. It's all people who studied already. I'm very curious to hear from people who didn't. Okay, staying centered, grounded in the age of AI. Oh, I love that. Healthy balance between digital natural worlds. Okay, I think we are more or less on the same page, right? Mindful usage, intentional healthy relationships with software. Okay, so the recurring topic is here, like staying centered, intentionality. Notice it's much more than screen time, there is a poll up there for people who are joining. Maybe if you want to answer, that would be great. So in fact, the way we see digital well-being, what we see in the market, it's much more than just screen time. And by the way, Gavino and Nari, feel free to share any of your ideas at any point. Stop me if you have some examples or so. When we talk about diet, good diet, it's not just eating apples or drinking organic milk, right? It's about actually having exercise and going to bed early enough, which is what I'm struggling with right now, but that's a different topic. So it's a balance, right? Similarly, it's not just about how much time you spend in front of the screens, or your kids do, or your employees do. It's much more, and it's a very complex subject. And more people are realizing the complexity of it, right? So why I'm speaking to you about this, I'll say a few words about myself. I'm founder of Consciously Digital Institute. That happened 10 years ago when I left my job working for a big tech brand in London. I was in charge of advertising campaigns, making people click on cat videos or any other videos more. And basically I felt overwhelmed, got rid of my smartphone, and that was the start of something bigger. What we do, we have the first digital well-being certification leadership program that is accredited by 2 major coaching associations. Why all this might be interesting for you, except apart from that, like we work with major companies, is that we constantly work, we develop our own research, we read constantly the latest research in digital well-being, and we do an annual report about the state of digital well-being market globally. That we send to our coaches, but also to our colleagues who have a different career path. Yeah, and this is what I want to talk to you about today. So let's just see who we have here. There are some people who study, familiar with it. So majority know what it is. Okay. For beginners, feel free to ask me anything. Yeah, a little bit later. Okay, and there are some people who want to grow the business, curious. Okay, great. I think you will find it useful. So, digital well-being market in 2025. What do we see? It's the second time that we're doing this annual survey. So, what do we see? We definitely see the growth, yeah, but the growth is unequal. It's first time we're seeing more new players coming in. Almost a half say that they have entered the digital well-being market in the last 1 to 3 years. It's probably largely to work of people like Tristan Harris, right? Like maybe like to Jonathan Haidt's Sanctions Generation. We'll talk about him a bit later. There is overall awareness that's creating more interest. Yeah, and we see that a lot. The majority are still women, and 70%, which is consistent to the previous year's result. And we see it as a growing sector. So 45% said that their business grew in 2025. Then about like 28% said it was stagnating, and only 6% said it was actually going down. And for 40%, which is more than last year, the digital well-being has become the main source of income. And about a quarter made over 5,000 per month on these activities, which means that they already can be living from that. Interestingly enough, we have more people this year who say they're making over 50K per month on digital well-being, and this number is growing. So what you can see is that there is a very big range, right? Like they're like very low earners and high earners. What everyone says is there is definitely a need, like in the market, there is increased awareness in companies and children, well, children so much in parents and schools, right, about the lack of this balance between online and offline words. But there might be still a gap, which I'll talk about in a minute, between actually being aware and paying, or being willing to pay or having the money to pay. Yeah. The interesting new trend that we see is experiential digital well-being. So not just talks, webinars, but actually digital detox tours. Gavino will be your topic. We'll be very interested to hear from you about this. Events, live events like digital detox clubs, and transformational experiences. So change management programs, big ones with big checks. Creating rituals, creating spaces, physical spaces where people can experience a different way to interact with technologies or disconnect. Yeah. So we're moving away from just like a speaking head who is saying, oh no, like give up your smartphone or cut down your screen time, to something where people can come and experience in different ways. We also see the continuing trend of polarization of the market. Yeah, like some people are really in TERP earners and some in super low fees. So the market growing, but growing unequally. And these people in top earners are really growing fast. Question to you all. What do you think is different from high to low earners? Anyone? And while you're thinking, maybe Nari or Gavino, anything that you want to mention about these trends? Maybe you have seen anything in your work before I speak about low versus high earners. More awareness, more money, less money, more clients. Anyone? Like, how has your digital well-being market been in 2025?
I think from my side, there is more requests from organizations to create spaces where technology is not part of the conversation we're hosting. So there has been much more of a request of that, and sharing of data internally. As you know, that I work with a lot of corporates, and that's the request has been sharing data as to why Distraction means that coaching, facilitated conversation, or strategic launches need no tech so that people are focused and concentrated. So that's what we're seeing in our market.
Thanks for sharing. Davina, anything that you saw, anything
Yes.
interesting?
Yes, from my side, more requests from schools and municipalities. So we go into school, we do digital well-being seminars and digital detox as a tour, as we said before, or as a village that we build into the municipality where children come with parents and they can't use their smartphone and they find artisan drawer, old games and all this stuff for playing together. But I will say better later. But it's just a new request for the young people.
Okay, so community and for the young people, nice
Yeah.
one. Yeah, we see that a lot, like the community request, and Nari can also tell us a little bit about that. Okay, high earners versus low earners, ideas. What's different? What's different about people who make money? I don't know if we have any of my people on the call who make money. The survey was anonymous, so I don't know who they are, I only have the data. It's not allocation, by the way. It's not even gender.
I can tell in my instance, I make more money if I'm direct to businesses or schools than if I'm direct one-to-one or like small local classes and stuff.
Yes. Yeah, that's one of the things. Dedyukhina, yes, automated processes, effective use of systems, yes. Audience science influence, no, not that. Level of awareness, no. Product, yes. Daniel has taken the course. Network connections previously worked, no. Okay, let me tell you what it is. Suspense. High earners, it's people making more than 18,000 per month. We looked at them, yeah, versus people making less than 500 per month. So we looked at two extremes. High earners, first of all, they have experience. Yeah, they have had time to figure out. Most people who just entered the market with very few exceptions. I can talk about them later. They're actually still figuring out. Those who have managed to be in the market for more than 7 years, they're more likely to make money. As Kat is saying, more often work with organizations. Don't have to be large companies, can also be small media companies, universities, schools, governments. I guess I will ask here a question to both Nari and Gavino. What did you find as requirements? Like what needs to happen so that you can work with large organizations or governments? And so like what's like, is ICF qualification, for example, was it a big thing for you? Like Nari, I know you're PCC.
I mean, to go in as a coach or systems thinker, the International Coach Federation is helpful. But what organizations are looking for is that you're coming in with research and sufficient data to back what you are saying. So if you are saying that there is that well-being, digital well-being is important, you need to evidence that. Your coaching is a skill that supports it, but ultimately it's the research that motivates the investment of funding.
Thank you. Gabina.
The same for me. The same.
Okay. Here we go. We also see the same, right? If we're talking about large budgets, they want to see why they're spending. They have a higher average check, so their per hourly rate are higher, which obvious, right? Because like these organizations can allow to pay that. But also it's about asking for the higher thing. Very important one, super important. They work as part of the team. Almost none of them is working solo. And that's super important because when we look now at low earners, we will see that almost all of them are working by themselves. And this is where most of the problems come, right? Especially in such a new sector as digital well-being. Like there is such a big need for collaboration here. They have more structured programs. I think some of you mentioned it. It doesn't have to be even necessarily like structured marketing, but it's more like often they went through formal education, but it's not that education like they're smarter. It's just like they have learned a specific approach. What I mean by structured programs, right? Like they have a specific way of doing things that's repetitive, that has been proven, that people can see is working. please.
Anastasia, if I can add something here, it's because then your clients are also identifying with what you are offering. They know exactly, it's not a bespoke thing that you're designing. They know what they're buying and that you've had experience in it. It really does help to have a structured program that you can sell. Makes it easier for the buyer.
Thank you. Thanks for saying. And it makes it easier for you because you're not spending time every single time putting it all together. Yeah, so that's an important one. Another interesting point, they have a variety of products that each complement each other, right? So they can have, maybe Gavino, you can talk more about that. But so for example, they can have, I don't know, like an event, then this event like can lead like to a bigger program. Then they will maybe like have like on top of that, like some physical products that they will be selling. So it's not that they're doing 10 things at the same time. By making one sale, they're making many other things. Yeah. Gavino?
I would like to add also identifying funding opportunities that can be from European Union, from local or regional or national level. It helps a lot us to work. So not selling something to the business, let's say to the corporate, but to identifying funding opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. There is a great question from Daliani in the chat. Are they also product resellers, franchisees from other well-being organizations? We didn't ask it directly, but when we asked, did you collaborate with other digital well-being players? The majority of high earners said yes, which again tells you a thing. It's called other people's audiences. I'm going to talk about this in a moment. Here we go. Both what we see and everyone is saying. They approach clients with more complex evidence-based offers, which most of them have gained from the education. That's again what they say, whether with Consciously Digital Institute, whether with any other organization. Yeah, so that's something that is a differentiating factor. They show more willingness to work on the international level. Most people are based actually in Europe, US, but clients are global. We see lots of growth in Europe this year. Last year it was US. And more Middle East as well, but still a smaller proportion. And there is a bigger trend for cross-cultural, cross-country initiatives. So what do low earners do differently? Why are they not making money? What do you think? Well, basically everything that's opposite to that, right? Well, first of all, they work with people who do not necessarily have money, right? Can be individuals, can be families, can be charities. And there is a trade-off here, right? If you want to work with this, and I think, Gavino, I would like you to talk about this a little bit, you can do that. But I know that you have tried different business models and then you changed it. Maybe could you speak a little bit about that?
Yes, when we was born, we started with B2C market, so just selling digital detox tours to single customers, but it was really difficult and not really much effective also because you are spending not just to promote yourself, your company, but to promote an entire sector, which is still not much known. Now, for sure, more known. But we started in 2019, so as you know, it was not really popular. Then we started to work with companies. And now, as I said, we work with schools and municipalities, which could have this problem of not much money, especially now in this period in Italy. But we specialized in the finding funds from national, regional, or European level. So we find the money, we find them the opportunity to receive the money and pay our services. So without this, it could be really difficult to work.
And I want to acknowledge something. I know that there are lots of people who come into digital well-being, come here not to make money. And I think Eric made this comment before. And it's important, right? We don't come here, it's not like we're not Silicon Valley. But in order to be able to live, right, and make it, you need to make money. So if you realize that you want to work with children, or like you want to work with individuals, with schools, they don't have the money. There are other ways, right? Governmental funding, especially if you're in Europe, for example. It's a specific skill. I think, Gavina, you needed like to do lots of courses yourself, right? I don't know how much time it took you.
Yeah, and also we have some people who work with us, as you said before, both project managers and also other trainers, because I can't do alone all the hours we have. So we are working, and we are also extending the possibility of working with us to partners in other regions in Italy. Maybe also now other country with David in Spain.
Nice.
Other attendance to the course of Anastasia as I. So also community effective.
Nice.
So yes, this is really important, as you said, work with others.
Yeah, absolutely. Work with others. Find the source of money if the audience cannot pay it, right? It doesn't mean that like we all need to be going into the corporate sector, but there should be ways.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
as I wanted to say one thing, because sometimes when market is small and the cake is small, people don't want to share
Yeah.
a part of the small cake, but
Yeah.
it's the only one way to grow, I think. And in this way, we can help the sector to grow faster and better.
Absolutely. And I don't think the cake is small, because
No.
I think that's a
I was
problem.
talking about the first years.
Yes.
Not
Yeah.
now, not
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Now
Now
there is much more request, but before
it's
first
difficult.
years was small, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like all these people, like, I mean, many of those who are in the call who recently graduated, like, like you have been the first pioneers of building it. Like, you see how much gray hair I have? Yes, that's why. What else they're doing that's not helping them? Well, they're doing everything by themselves, no team. Don't be surprised then their main complaints that the business is not working, it's not growing, I have no time for marketing research, I have no sales skills, I have no ways to scale up, blah, blah, blah. Clients are not paying. If you're doing it all by yourself, you're doing the job of 5 people. It's very difficult. This is where, yes, knowing people and so on can help. Obviously, it makes it easier, but everything from the scratch is super difficult. Yeah. People who don't make lots of money, they don't have structured, scalable products, right? So they offer, I tell always all my graduates, never ever do one-off webinars, never ever do one-off coaching sessions. It's like, doesn't work. They have no subscriptions, they have no recurring revenues, yeah. They don't have a variety of products, so they are completely spread. They don't have repetitive products, and they're not committed. They see digital well-being as a hobby. They're playing with it, then they're stopping, then they're coming back to that. It doesn't work this way. Yeah, you have to be fully in there, then you can start seeing some results. In their case, the result is the business stagnating, goes down, and the problem of finding the right audience. Anything else, Gavino and Nairi, you want to add to that?
I think just to find the low earners a little bit right, and I know you have as well, is to say that it's a transition. Sometimes it's a transition from a previous role, or it's a new area. And there is a lot of nervousness. The invitation, which is what Anastasia is saying, is to stay in contact with the people that you're learning with, because that's your sense of community, and collaborating together will make this, even if you decide to stay in the lower earnings, would make it much easier and compelling. So if you don't want to do the subscription, and if you don't want to do those things, other people do, so you could play a smaller part in a bigger team. So the invitation is really to learn in community and remain in contact with that community, because that's your support network. That's automatically given when you're studying something.
Which is a great example now that Gavino just gave. We have a graduate in Spain, David, who is hopefully is going to be collaborating. So with that in mind, something I should have done 28 minutes ago, but I'm going to introduce my guest speakers. Just like a couple of words about. So Nairi is a systemic coach. Systemic means she works with relationships, yeah, but like with many people. She's ICF PCC qualified coach, director of CRR UK, founder of Ideal Change, and a community lead for ORSC. UK ORSC is Organizational Systemic Relationship Coaching. So she knows everything about the communities and community building and the importance of communities also to sell. So, and we have also Gavino, who is a digital well-being coach trainer and founder of the first Italian operator of digital detox tours, Log Out, Live Now, who actually I think got the most press coverage. I have a question to both of you. Nari, I've looked at your LinkedIn. You have one post in 2 weeks. Something is no, don't be embarrassed. Something is telling me you're not using social media for sales. Then I would like to ask you, like, how are you getting your clients then, especially like the digital well-being clients, which is a new area. And Gavino, the same question would be for you. I understand there's been lots of like media, but would love also to hear like about your ways and how you have built like the awareness of brand. Whoever wants to go first.
Gavina, I'm a bit envious, so why don't you go and brag about your media coverage?
Can you repeat, please? Did you ask how we
Yeah,
made
how
it?
did you build your brand? I mean, like you weren't like posting on social media like 10 times a day as Gary Vee is suggesting, right?
No, not much.
How did you
Me
grow?
neither. I would like to post more, but it's always difficult to manage it. At the beginning, we promote much on social media, actually, and about media coverage was, I guess, natural because we were the first, almost the first in Italy to do so. We made nice videos, so it's important uh, to create content from the events you make. And
So
then
you did
also a bit
events
of
and you were
luck, of course.
sharing.
Yes,
Sorry
yes,
to interrupt you.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
No, thank you. We did events and we share the content, and this helps. So many newspaper or TV shows contact us. But now we don't find many clients through social media. As I said, we after many years we understand our way is to find funding opportunities. So we check the different funds and we contact municipalities, school. We explain our project. We show the experience we have. So other projects we did in other with other clients. This is really important. And then we also write the project. So we help the school and municipality not to have much work because we do basically everything. And then we do the work. We don't share much, but I think also way of mouth, right? Passaparola.
Word
Uh,
of mouth. Word
yeah,
of mouth.
word of mouth help a lot. And then for companies, we just contact the companies and we propose our digital detox events or training in digital well-being, but mostly with founding, as I said, which is totally different than when we started.
So it's sponsored, so kind of like you're not like charging them the full price, basically.
Yeah. Sometimes they even don't have to pay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great one.
and
Yeah.
then can do all. And now, as I said, we cooperate with other people in other region of Italy, so they are promoting Logout and our services, and they can earn a percentage if they find a client and manage.
Nice one.
It
Thank you.
also helps.
Nairi, your recipe.
Yeah, well, thank you for introducing me with not posting anything for 2 weeks, which is very true. I rarely post anything because I have such a strong community members who are constantly posting that I get overwhelmed by it. And to be fair, 10 years ago, when I took over the systemic relationship coaching program, I had the option of investing money in marketing or investing money in the community, and I diverted the funds to the community. And basically, I told everybody that I'm not spending money on marketing, not going to do anything, but I need your help. And so we became partners. So I'm actually partnering with every single person who does our course. They become the partners, and partnering doesn't mean that it's a transactional partnership. It's a relational partnership, and relational partnership has a different quality to it. So we're creating events constantly for our community. These events are specifically targeted to improve their profile in the marketplace. For example, for this year's Christmas party, which I think Anastasia mentioned something about habits and rituals. So this community that's been going for 10 years, we've got very strong rituals of what we do. One of the things we do is the last Thursday in November, we run a Christmas or end of year party. And this year we did a creative thing. They never bring their phones in, which is unusual because we've never asked them not to, but they don't. And we spend the whole time on cultivating the quality of our relationship. So through the research that Anastasia shared, I invited a flip chart designer to come in, and we learned how to do flip chart design, which has changed, by the way, over the last 2 years. And the reason why we did that is because our customers, when we are doing in-person coaching, they want to see attractive flip charts because they live in the social media world where everything is beautiful. So we can't go in and coach in an organization and create ugly flip charts or do what a lot of project leads do, put a lot of sticky notes. They're very mindful of creativity and you being the facilitator that brings in. So for the last 10 years, everything has worked with community. Just to give you an idea, 30 days out from a public course, I had one person registered. We authorized the course, which means we were financially obligated for the course to the US franchise company, also the facilitators. And on the day of the course, we had 18 people registered. They were all driven by community. And again, it's not their friends, their brothers, their uncles. It's actually their network of people and the value of the work that we do. Having said that, I would like a little bit more press coverage just so that I don't have a nervous breakdown 30 days beforehand. And the other thing that I want to say around this well-being is that we don't generally with the coaches offer it as another training. What we do is really share the research that Anastasia's work does so that they're aware of the distraction that may be present when we are involved in facilitating or coaching or supporting the strategic delivery of an organizational direction. So we need to be aware that they are actually actively present. So digital technology is actively present in the work that we are doing, and how do we ensure that the focus is us and not the digital technology? Does that make sense? I've kind of rambled on a little bit. Yeah.
It does for me. Does anyone from the audience have a question for Nairi or Gavina? Because I think Gavina needs to run soon. Then please use the chat to ask your question. But Nairi, you're staying a bit longer, right? Okay. Any questions for Gavina then at this point? Or if you want to unmute yourself, but just for the quick question, if anyone has a question. Otherwise, we do.
I have a question for Gavina.
Please.
Gavina, I guess what I'm interested in that you flexed around the business model, but my assumption is that your purpose, so what you were connected to, hasn't shifted. So what was your original dream to create? What inspired you to do this?
Thank you for this nice question. And my original dream was to, and this is still the dream, to help people to improve their lives through a more conscious use of digital devices. So both young people and adults, just to evaluate the positive aspects of digital and to decrease the negative effects. So this is the purpose, and it's really important because if I did this just for the money, for sure I wouldn't be here now because the first years are really difficult and first period, and yeah. So I think also for you maybe it's the same. The why is really important and is helping people.
I think for
Yeah.
most of us are, and really, I think like one of the reasons why I'm doing this thing, like one of the things we do in Consciously Digital Institute, we offer like mentorship, business mentorship for students, because I see so many brilliant people who finish the course. It's happening with coaching overall, but especially with digital well-being, which is very vocational. And then they're like, oh my God, but like, how do I make a living out of it? And it's all these things I was thinking about, giving them the research, giving them frameworks, ready programs, community, like how do you do sales marketing, but in an authentic way. I think it's super important. Question for you, Gavino. How does digital detox tour look like? Very quickly.
Yeah. So we are always in amazing locations into the nature. People arrive, put their phone in a safety box that we hold, so they cannot use for all the days of the event. Also, Anastasia came with other students of the course for 3 days, Sardinia, and we did one. So the group is followed by a digital well-being coach or trainer, which is me or other colleagues, for all the period of the event. Because the goal is not to come back to the Stone Age and not to use technology for all of your life, but it's to build a more conscious way. So we do also seminars into and training session into the digital detox. And then we do many different activities, and we try to make activities which are related to digital well-being. So, for example, yoga for slow down and for introspective, artisanal work for creativity and using hands, and also to avoid instant gratification, because you have to try many times for doing stuff. Then yes, more or less this. And after the 1, 2, or 3 days, it happens how it depends on how it lasts, the detox. We give back the phone, and we also try to give suggestion to come back to real life and continue this path. For example, we make a 30 days digital detox box challenge. So one challenge per day per 30 days. So they can apply what they learn.
Nice one. Gavino, there is one more question, but I don't know if you can answer it really quickly.
Yeah,
I would like to
the
talk
last
about...
I can.
Yes. How would you describe the job of a digital detox trainer? What are some of the skill sets you need to share, like self-regulation?
For sure, self-regulation.
Are you doing the Delium?
No. So for sure, the course also helped me a lot, Consciously Digital, because gave me the skills about digital well-being. But you also need the skills for managing a group, because you are with a group for 3 days. Actually, I got degree before in a tourism sector. So this is also important. And then to be flexible, because who is a coach knows it. I mean, you also need to understand people all the time. Is different problems, different solutions. Adaptable, maybe it's a better word. Yes. So
Okay,
this for
great.
sure what came to mind to me.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Are we gonna let him go because I already kept him?
I'm sorry, I cannot
Thanks.
stay longer.
Thanks so much.
I would like to.
Thank
and
you.
help you for thank you for
you
hosting.
very much.
Bye.
I will answer this question starting from scratch. What to do, because I started with events myself, so I'm happy to comment on this later. But before that, I want to speak about like the really big people in digital well-being right now. When you think about, like, when I ask you which organization, which people have the biggest digital well-being brand right now, who comes to your mind? Write for me in the chat. First person you think about, except for Anastasia, of course, who is well known globally. Who comes to your mind? Dan Harris. I have no idea who Dan Harris is. It might be Tristan Harris. Okay, Tristan Harris. Oh, is the other? Okay, great. Carl Newport, Tristan Harris. What else? Who else? You see, we have different brands thing. Who else? Other two. Those who are parents will know this guy for sure. Or those who are in the course will know. Jonathan Hyde, yes. Yes, and Niriel. Well, here you go. Yes, exactly this. Exactly. What do these people have in common, apart from being wild males born in the United States? That's a different question. Very, very respect their work. Yeah, that's like the amplification system is not part of this. But what do they have in common? So how did they create it and what we can learn from them? Number one, they all became famous because they started with some kind of signature product which went viral. Note that it was not their first product, yeah, and that's an important idea. Tristan Harris, for example, right? Tristan Harris's first TED Talk actually didn't go well. The second one, yes. Yeah, important. Jonathan Haidt wrote research, published it, was okay. He wrote the first book, which was something of the American mind, like basically about like the new generation of Americans. It wasn't very popular, but the anxious generation became the bestseller, right? So because he found like the niche, like he was like one of the topics that what really like clicked was this problem with children. Carl Newport wrote the book Digital Minimalism. Before that, he wrote a number of other wonderful books, right, which made him famous. Probably Deep Work is probably one of my favorite ones. Niriel, well, first wrote Hooked, right? But then he wrote Indestructible as a response of that. But largely, so like what they could do and what you can do, like a big talk, yeah. It's easier if you're white American male who knows people. Yes, that's true. Sorry. I have to say that. I was lucky. My TED Talk went viral. It does happen, but it's more of an exception. My TED Talk went viral, 500,000 views in 1 year, and this is actually why I'm here doing what I'm doing. But for most people, it's not the case. If you're connected, if you know the organizers, if you can get to TED.com, yes, it's easier. But most people who don't know people don't get to that level unless like it's super breakthrough idea. Yeah, may happen, but it's a rare one. More likely, some kind of signature article or research. Yeah, so something that breakthrough, it's just easier, right? Because there are many more publications, and it doesn't matter if you're in UK, like anywhere can be English-speaking market or not, although English-speaking does help. Any kind of breakthrough research, you can be a researcher, you can have a team of researchers or team up with people. Maybe you're a coach who has access to companies, you can send the survey to companies. Your name will also be in the research, right? So it doesn't even have, like, you don't have to have all this sophisticated statistical skills, although they help. Maybe you end up speaking for one top podcast. I don't know. You meet in the airport lounge with Joe Rogan. One breakthrough. Right? If you think about, oh my God, remind me, the Japanese lady who cleans everyone's spaces. Yes, thank you very much, Marie Kondo. Marie Kondo's moment when she got on the television, right? So she was offered the series. Before that, nobody knew her, right? And that's like basically. But we're talking here about really big names. You don't have to be a big name to make like 50K per month in digital well-being. No. Like these people didn't answer our survey. But that's an idea. So more or less like you create a signature, have a product. What do you do then? You leverage the momentum. So that's the biggest thing. And this is where you really need the team. Ideally, you want to have people behind you, academia, you know, like most of these people are in academia, we're in academia, or like connections. This is where your connections really matter for scaling up. For starting a business, they don't. You can do it like on a very, very low level. Media coverage. So as much press as you can. Again, like Gavino's example is he managed to get lots of press because he was doing funny things. I can share my experience to promote my first book. I did a crazy thing. I went to the Silicon Roundabout in London. Those who don't know where it is, it's where all the tech companies go. It was 2017. And I have written some stats like on a piece of paper, like was very, very homemade, which was, it was winter, I think it was February, like freezing cold, like it's also one of these places where you have like endless wind coming. So I was staying there like for 3 or 4 hours, and I think it said something like kind of 5 out of 6 of us would rather touch the phone than our partners, and there was something about sex, which always provokes people. And then I was also like coming and talking to people about this. The majority looked at me as crazy, but there were some journalists, and I got in their press, and I got coverage, and my book just got sold like this. This was, you know, like a very small thing. Then the media coverage, for me, the book was something that was helping media coverage. If you don't like posting, yeah, then use other people's audiences. Media, podcast, guest speaking, LinkedIn Live, real events, whatever it is. And what Nairi was talking about, what I need to add here is the community. Community is so undervalued. This is why I absolutely disagree when you say you have to know people. Big people know, because each of us has community. Each of us can find 100 people that can become part of their community. Yeah, so that's an important idea. If you can mobilize the community, that's bigger, but like to bring the business constantly, you need the community, right? It's people who like your ideas. And then the next thing that they did, right, once they got followers, lots of them, and really leveraged, yeah, the momentum, scaled it up, they started building a movement, everyone except for Nuriel. Carl Newport built in Deep Life movement, right? And he's noticed they're also focusing on different things. Like Carl Newport is about the importance of focus. Tristan Harris is about ethical design of technology, right? Launching a new profit movement. Jonathan Hyde, everyone knows, yeah, like 4 key things that children, parents and schools need to do to have a phone-free childhood. Easy, understandable, he goes around promoting this, yeah? People feel empowered. Easy? Yeah, well, try to replicate. Questions? Or maybe anyone wants to add anything to that? That's kind of a rough ballpark.
Anastasia, hi there. How do you help, or I'm assuming that you help members of your community try to focus on what is their core message, like the examples you just gave here?
It's a good one. I mean, it's this frequent question of how do you build a niche. Let me actually have the next slide where I wanted to talk a little bit about certification, but this will answer your question. So the reason why we have certification this way is because we're progressing from easy to more difficult topics. We're starting from the science of the brain, attention, and digital well-being, yeah, and basically what's happening with our attention. Why attention? Because if you look at these guys, for example, most of them were starting with attention. Jonathan Hyde is playing now a lot the attention card. It's the awareness. Tristan Harris did his first talk about attention, right, and how like tech companies are fighting for our attention. Carl Newport is all about attention. I cannot teach people anything before we figured out their attention. Yeah, so that's always what we do. What I teach them is like how you make people aware of that, how you create behavioral change. Yeah. Then in the second one, we talk about the body. And then the third one, we talk about social relationships. So parenting, how AI is changing work, how sustainability, well, as digital habits sustainable, what's happening with nature. Once people have figured out the topic that is really dear to their hearts, and I've had people who by the end of the year suddenly realize they want to really work with privacy or sustainability, they never even knew that, yeah. Then we sit down and say, okay, so you are passionate about that, where's the money? Let's try to figure out where is the money. You want to work with sustainability, who's your buyer? Yeah, you want to understand basically and that's for everyone. Who has a problem? Which problem are you solving? Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem for most digital well-being folks. They're posting about everything and nothing. Yeah, or writing and offering. That's where I see like also like people who are not, because we have a postgraduate program where people come, like I help them with mentorship. So now we have put it all together, but it used to be first they study and then they finish. Those who were not continuing, I saw them just wasting months on sending a very generic message. And that's a shame, because people never come to you saying, I have a digital well-being problem. People come to you saying, I have a burnout. Often they come to us because we had these problems, right? Like I had a digital burnout. My first clients were coming to me with stress related things, but they were not saying I have a digital burnout. They were saying I have a stress problem. Yeah, that makes sense. Nairi, what kind of question to you? What kind of problems do you see like clients come to, which you maybe later find is a digital well-being problem? But how do they formulate it?
I mean, Gretchen, just to also answer your question, the final submission, you're invited to submit a proposal, but which is actually part of your accreditation. It's actually quite intense because you have to do it like really look at the research and why you're doing it in the market. It really helps you galvanize the direction you want to take. So it is very helpful. But just to answer your question, Anastasia, because my focus is all the relational stuff, like what is going on in organization where tasks are stuck, not progressing forward, it's generally because there's an issue in the way that the team members are relating to each other. What we are noticing more and more is that the relational issues are fractured because the questions and the resolutions are being directed towards the technology. So they're turning to ChatGPT to find a solution and then coming back and hoping that that solution fits within the team environment. But actually, they need to talk to the team members to resolve the issue. The issue isn't resolvable at the technology level. It's at the human relational level. One thing we know about the human relational level is that you may think an answer will look like this, but generally the person in front of you will answer the way they feel in that moment. So we need to develop even stronger relational mastery to be able to resolve the task issues which we are encountering. So when I hear things like there's a lot of people not turning up to work, there's a lot of tension, tasks are being stuck, what we will do now, thanks to the course, is that review the usage of technology in that team. What we'll find is that greater usage of technology means that it's disrupting the relational coherence in a team. And I'll repeat again, it's not that technology doesn't support the work that humans are doing currently. It's that we still need to be in relationship and even stronger relationship to resolve some of the task-related issues. So burnout is one, and the explanation is they can't cope with the stress. But the burnout is because they are getting multiple messages. They need to look at LinkedIn, internal Slack communication, external WhatsApp. One person I knew had 250 external business WhatsApp groups in addition to I don't know how many communities on Slack. And in the end, they were vomiting on a daily basis because they weren't able to cope with the level of stress and pinging reminders. It was just awful. That had a cascading impact on the team, by the way. It doesn't stay at the individual level. If one person is overwhelmed with technology, I can assure you the whole team is overwhelmed with technology. It's an emotions are transferable.
Thanks so much. What we'll do, I'll just want to quickly wrap it up, then we'll take a break, and then I'll stay for any questions or so. Yeah, that just for the interest of time of those who are running. So for those who don't know the certification, very briefly, what's different for us, we give the diploma that's accredited by 2 major coaching associations. If you do want to work with organizations, it's highly recommended that you get a recognized diploma. Nari will tell you.
Actually, can I just say to that,
Please.
a lot of companies will not hire you if you're not accredited by a particular kind of body. The International Coach Federation has done a lot of work to put itself as the first accreditation body, but there is the European Mentoring and Coaching Certification, which is also EMCC, ACC, but ICF definitely has a very strong reputation in corporates.
Thank you. Thanks. Another thing I think will be relevant for what we spoke about. I don't pre-record calls because research is updated every year. I have a few people from this call who will be retaking the course free of charge. I allow up to 3 times because I want everyone to be up to date. And the community is very big. Yeah, we said it's lonely out there. As a solo founder or coach or entrepreneur, you make less money. Yeah, you're more likely to burn out. So we do make a big effort to make them collaborate, to build relationships, even if it's just like they will need more time, right? Some of us need more time because things happen, and that's okay. And another thing that I do, and I'm very passionate about, I really want more people working in digital well-being and being able to maintain themselves. I really think so. It's important because otherwise most of us will be sitting on the tech grants, on the big tech brands, and we can't be independent, right? We actually pride ourselves of making all the money ourselves. That's why also the program is expensive, but it allows us to be independent, not to be taking any money from the big tech. And to support like the dream of many people, we're trying as much as we can to give, like we have master classes, we have business mentorship, we invite speakers, so lots of that. Okay, so for those of you who are interested, we actually we're sold out on the 2026 intake, but get on the wait list. If you're not on the wait list, have a look, and you can in any case book a discovery call with Josephine, who is our advisor, to see that's something that maybe you want to do or next year, or maybe you just want to do level 1, because level 1 we can still get you in. So with that in mind, I'm going to do the final poll. Just to know how it is, and then we will take a few minutes break, and then there will be networking, very informal if you stay, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
And can I just say again,
Please.
I'm not here on behalf of Anastasia, but I absolutely loved the course. I loved it because it was so intellectually engaging and relevant, and it made so much sense in the conversations that I had around the dinner table, in any dinner table, because I wasn't just repeating scaremongering or any of those things. I actually had some consciousness around my language and why I wanted to do certain things. I love the reading material. I found it really, really hard. Every Sunday I was like, why is Anastasia making me do these? I love the project. And just to say that I also commissioned the research as a result of it, and the research is not solid enough, and I'm coming back to Anastasia and her team to see if they can support it, because learning and development in organizations are fundamentally changing because we have a belief that we can snack and get mastery. So we can do a 20-minute, 5-minute, stick it in our ear, and somehow we are masters at it. And we're trying to actually find the sweet spot. We're not making that wrong. The sweet spot between that and when you really have to concentrate on things that you want to learn. And relationships, I just want to say one more time, you can't build relationships in 5 seconds. Human beings need time to build and trust and care for each other. And there is another narrative that's being told, which I don't think is even partially right. So if you can afford it and you'd like to do it, I recommend it because of the level of knowledge that you gain through the course. Yeah, I loved it.
Very much. There are still 8 people who didn't answer the survey. It would be great if you could do that right now before we go in a break. Those who answered and want to stay for the networking, go have 3 minutes break, pee, walk, stretch, but don't sit in front of your computers, and I will see you in 3 minutes. For everyone else, I will see you at some other point. Thanks so much, Nari. 5 more people, please take the thing. Thanks. Stay a little bit for the networking if you can.